being recorded. There we go. Hello, everyone. All right. Oh, I love the ears. Oh my gosh. What is that, darling?
It's a gnome.
Oh, it's a gnome. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, shoot. I should have brought, I have ears for a later one. Maybe I'll wear them for the rest of the ones in December. That's amazing. Love it. All right. Welcome anyone who's joining us. We are live with a ton of guests here. Welcome to the Essential Gift Guide of the 2022 Citizen Science Gift Guide. That says 2023, but we are currently still in 2022, so I can change that really fast, just so we don't confuse anyone. And while we are waiting for a moment, we would love to know who's joining us. So if you would like to drop a line in our chat to just say, hi, I am so-and-so calling in from so-and-so somewhere, go ahead and do that. I can start us off. My name is Emma. I am zooming in from Phoenix, Arizona, specifically.
And remember to use the everyone option. Yes. Vanessa, change that from host and panelist to everyone. That way everybody sees your input. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Great. All right, while that's happening, we'll go ahead and get started to save time since we do have so many of us here today. We want to make sure we're being pretty quick here. So if you've been with us before, you might be familiar with the faces you're seeing on the screen. My name is Emma Giles. I'm a program coordinator for SciStarter and a SciStarter fellow with ASU. And I usually host these things along with a few others. Roland, I'm going to drop it over to you if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'll be IT support today, and I will be sharing the links which you will also receive in the email afterwards.
And then Bob, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, I'm Bob Hirschon. I am a host and podcaster for SciStarter, and I'll be doing some interviewing with some of our guests today.
Excellent. Awesome. All right, before we get to who is with us here today, I'm going to go through what we have available to you to use as we go through the webinar. So you have both the chat and the Q&A function available to you. So as you are using the chat option, you can let us know if you have any questions, any sudden moments that you want to just make a comment about. Go for it. If you need some support, you can send a message directly to Roland, who has IT support in parentheses for you, just as a reminder. And then the Q&A option is available to all of you as well if you have questions about any of the gifts, any of the gifts, any of the products that we talk about, or about citizen science in general, SciStarter, or anything else that you would like to note. In this little box over here, we have a little note to just say hello and where you're from. So if you're just joining us, feel free to do that here or on Facebook if you're joining us there. You can also still join us during this webinar, so you can go ahead and register and get the link for the Zoom if you're on Facebook currently. All right, let's talk about our guests, our multitudinous amount of guests. And I'm going to start from the far left and head all the way across. So Darlene, if you'd like to unmute and talk to the group.
And I just saw a note in there from Roland that the poll button didn't show up, Emma, just FYI. I'm Darlene Cavalier from Arizona State University and the founder of SciStarter. So glad you're all here. And I'm one of the authors of a couple of books about citizen science, one being the Field Guide to Citizen Science. Thank you.
Awesome. And then Susan, would you like to introduce yourself? Excuse me. Things might have to hit unmute still.
There, I'm unmuted. Yay. Hi, I'm Susan. Hi, everyone. Susan Edwards Richmond. And I was invited because I am the author of a couple of picture books about citizen science or community science. One is called Bird Count, based on the Christmas bird count, and the other is BioBlitz, which is a biodiversity count.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Susan. And then Darren, would you mind unmuting to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Darren Ash. I'm at ASU. I'm at the School for the Future of Innovation in Society. And I'm here to talk about some of the instruments that are in our citizen science kits that we helped, that SciStarter and ASU developed, and looking forward to talking about them.
Excellent. And then Henry, last but not least.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, my name is Henry Regis. I'm the national coordinator for COCOROS, which stands for the Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network. And we're here in at Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado. And that picture, I'm holding the record hailstone that fell in Vivian, South Dakota back in 2010. So.
Wow. I'm so glad to get some context. I found that headshot and I was like, this is perfect. But didn't know what on earth you were holding.
Yeah, I got to transport it to NCAR. So that was a fun road trip with that in the dry ice when we got there.
Oh my gosh. Excellent. All righty. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here with us. I'm going to go ahead and open up a couple of polls for just understanding who exactly we have in our audience today. These are about several things that we ask every single time. So if you've been here before, you might be familiar. So have you ever participated in a citizen science project before? I'm going to go ahead and launch that poll. Roland, you might not be able to launch the polls due to the group, so I'll try to fix that in the meantime, okay? Alrighty, so we have about 70% of you participating, looking for at least 80%. There we go. Awesome. And our guests, you are allowed to participate in the polls too as well. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. It looks like most of us have participated in citizen science projects before. So we got lots of yeses, a couple no's, and one maybe. So hopefully we can figure out if they have been working on a citizen science project before after this event. All right. Secondly, we want to know if you are a frequent visitor. So if you've been to these events before, we want to know who we're seeing again. Although I can say that a lot of your names sound familiar when I start looking. Excellent. Looking for 80% at least again. Waiting a couple more seconds. 3, 2. Oh, we're so close to 80%. All right, guess we'll end it there. Awesome. Okay, so we've got most of you said yes. Welcome back. Happy to have you. Those of you who said no, well, welcome, and we're happy to have you here. I hope this is one of many. This is kind of a unique one too, so the rest of them are pretty different from this. But that said, we're glad to have you here. And then lastly, we want to know what type of individuals we're working with as well. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that previous one, and you can now answer the next question. What kind of person are you? Are you an aspiring citizen scientist, a student, parent of an aspiring citizen scientist, teacher, educator, etc., librarian, researcher, board person? It's always one at least. Or maybe zero. There might be 0 board people on the internet, which looks like it's the case right now. Awesome. Okay, great. This looks great. I'm going to go ahead and end that poll and share those results. Looks like we got students, teachers, librarians, and researchers with us. That's awesome. I'm assuming our researchers are the ones actually talking to us as well. I'm going to go ahead and stop that share. All right, so since a lot of you have been here before, just as a recap, we usually talk through what citizen science is, just to give you a good idea, a good starting point. So I'm going to do that for you right now. Citizen science, by the definition by SciStarter, is a collaboration between scientists and those of us who are curious, concerned, and motivated to make a difference. It's how people can make an impact on issues they care about and help science. And there's projects for all of those things in which you can find here. So the step number 1 to becoming a citizen scientist or being involved in this world is to actually join SciStarter. We are the hub of all projects, or we try to be all the projects. And so we keep that up to date for you and allow you to find projects that are relevant to you based on keywords, based on subjects that you're interested in, and allow you to keep track of all your work on those as well, which is really helpful. In addition to just being a part of the database and having an account there, we do offer free trainings, which is a great way to get a little bit more confidence in being able to participate in these things. So if you haven't done so already, the Foundations of Citizen Science tutorial is incredibly helpful in giving you a good footing and kind of forcing you into a couple of projects to get you that real experience before you get going. And then beyond that training, there's also 4 more that you can participate in. So once you've done the foundations, you have available to you 4 more that are also very helpful and very theme-based. So if you are a librarian, for example, there is one specifically for libraries, which is very helpful. All right, I'm going to pause here and take a moment. And Bob, our lovely podcast star, is actually going to take over for me as we walk through the work from the guests. So I'll go ahead and wait for your cues for moving forward.
Great. All right. Thanks so much, Emma. So yeah, welcome to everybody to the first annual SciStarter Holiday Gift Guide Live. We are going to be bringing you the best gift ideas for the science lovers in your life. And we'll be sharing some unique, extra special items you are guaranteed not to see on the Home Shopping Network or pretty much anywhere else. So we're so happy you could be here, and we're so happy to be sharing these with you. And our first guest is SciStarter's founder, our fearless leader, Darlene Cavalier. Hey, Darlene. Oh, she's muted.
Can't believe I did that. Hi, Bob. Thanks for
Yeah,
having
I'll
me.
do it.
I was going to go grab a copy of the book, but how can I help?
We can see it right here. Yeah. So it's the Field Guide to Citizen Science. And it looks like, and I believe it is, the essential gift for any science curious individual on your holiday guest list, that hard to please science fan. Could you tell us about it and sort of what what level it's at, whether it's for people who've done this before, whether it's for kids, where does this fall, and who should we be giving it to?
Absolutely. There's something for everyone in this. So for people who are just starting to just be curious about what the heck is citizen science, and basically anybody who is curious or concerned about a topic and looking for ways to be part of a solution to it. So that's, as you probably all know, pretty much what citizen science is. It's a way for us to take action on things that we're curious or concerned about. So this book was written by me and then two co-authors, Karen Cooper, who is our research colleague, Dr. Karen Cooper from North Carolina State University, and Catherine Hoffman as well. So these are members of the SciStarter team, and we kind of took gold star projects, we call them, pretty much projects that are going to be around for a while. There are thousands that are on SciStarter. Some come and go. Other ones are pretty evergreen. So they're around for a while. And we divided these chapters up into ways that we think people might be approaching their searches, just as they search for projects on SciStarter. We tried to make the book kind of come to life. So there's projects you can do with kids and families together. There's projects you can do in libraries. There are projects that require some instruments. We're going to learn some about more of those during today's event. And there's also a calendar at the end. So citizen science throughout the year, things you can do in different seasons. And we'll hear from Henry later about some of the projects that are dependent on the weather around you. So anywhere you're located, any age group, any experience level, access to people who have mobility issues and can't really get out that easily. There's projects for you to do from home too. So like I said, something for everyone. And it's a pretty breezy book, although a woman in her 90s, great friend, was at our house reading it, didn't realize I was the author. And I asked her how she was enjoying the book, and she said it was slow. It's a little slow. So I don't know that it is, but I hope you enjoy it.
Great. And how about teachers? Is this something that, maybe if there's a teacher on your gift list, they could use with like a group or a class or something like that?
There are projects there that are perfect for group activities. And there are projects that were initially designed not to be group activities, but somebody came along and developed additive activities and resources. So a little cheat there is to go to scistarter.org/education, and you'll find a lot of those projects that are perfect for formal and informal learning environments. So in other words, in school or out of school learning. Many of them also have lesson plans attached to them too.
And I know some projects require equipment or things that people might not have. And I know that there are some libraries that offer kits and things. Are any of the things any of the projects in your guide available in kits from libraries as well?
Yes, and I think Darren's going to tell us a little bit more about some of those kits. But yeah, this book was actually a precursor to the work that we did with libraries and kits. But this is how we started identifying, wow, these projects require some instruments that might not be easily found around your house. And Darren will tell us a little bit more about how the library loaning program came to be, of how libraries all across the country are now circulating citizen science kits with everything that you need to get involved in these projects. And just as a reminder, most projects don't require any instruments. The projects you're going to hear about today during this event do require instruments. That's why they're on the gift guide, because you can't really buy air.
Yeah, an idea.
Things. Yes.
Okay. Can we make Darlene big on the screen? Can we replace her? Yay. Okay.
Oh,
And then, yeah.
As long
and,
as she's talking, she will be bigger.
Oh, okay. So anything else you'd like to share?
Other than information about the book, no, but in maybe this time next year or the year after, we will be announcing another book. Hopefully by then we'll actually have the book ready. But
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thanks
thanks,
for
Darlene.
And for being such great members of the SciStarter community. We're 150,000 strong now. And we're just excited to see everybody. And hello, Trevor. I see Trevor's in chat. He's one of the newest members of our team too. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for participating too.
Great. Thanks, Darlene. And yeah, we alluded to the library program, and now we're going to turn to Darren Ash at Arizona State University, who has a whole collection of gift ideas, which you can purchase on their own as a gift. But they also happen to be available in our library kits too. So hi, Darren.
Hi, Bob. How you doing?
Good, good. Oh boy, there's so much cool stuff here.
All right.
And just to,
Okay,
so sorry, Bob, just to preface, so that I can change it so that Darren is the biggest face here. We're going to be talking about, or Darren's going to talk through the Airbeam and the Aeronet monitor. That's the newest one. And then also the Sky Quality Meter. And I'm going to go ahead and stop my share so that we can actually see your face, Darren, if that's all right by you.
Sure. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Okay, and
All
any
right.
particular order? I was going to start with the Sky Quality Meter, but I don't have
That's
to.
fine too. Yeah, we could start there.
Yeah, so what is that, and what project is it used for?
Sure. So, and I can, I don't know, you can probably see this, right? So
Ooh.
this is, yeah, the Sky Quality Meter. It is available on Amazon. I'm not sure how people are, purchase these instruments, but most of these are relatively available. It's not like you don't necessarily see them on the Home Shopping Network, but they are out there if you do a little search. So the Sky Quality Meter is from Unihedron, and its job is to measure the night sky. Light pollution is really a problem in the modern age, where we have lots of street lights, stadiums with huge lighting systems, and all that light spills up into the sky at night and kind of really mars the night sky, so that you see fewer and fewer stars. And so, for many people, they really enjoy the night sky, and it's really a shame to have that kind of light pollution, really destroying the starry skies that we see at night. And there's other reasons people actually use these light pollution meters. Sometimes they're just looking to reduce a city or a town's energy costs, because a lot of that energy, because they don't have the right lighting, spills up into the sky. If they were just to switch to lighting systems that point that light downward towards the streets, it would really cut out that light pollution problem quite a bit. And the last reason is, there's more and more evidence that there are actually health impacts. So as people, just that constant glow coming in from people's windows at night actually kind of disrupts their circadian rhythms as they're sleeping, and people just don't get quite as good a night's sleep as they used to when they were really in really dark sky conditions. So there's a number of reasons why people kind of are interested in this topic. But the meter itself is really easy to use. It comes as part of our measuring light in the night kit. I'll try to put these into the camera if I can. And as Darlene was saying, each of our kits that are available at these libraries come with everything that you need to engage in this citizen science project. step-by-step guides. In this case, there's a little handy dandy light, red light that you can use if you're kind of going out into a field so you don't trip. But the light doesn't kind of mess up your night vision. So everything that you might need is in there. And this particular meter is really easy to use. It's a kind of a simple on-off kind of thing, and it just basically takes a reading of the of how dark the sky is. So the lower the number, the better, actually. And what you do is it's part of a Globe at Night project from NASA, and they're looking for people's data. What they're doing is kind of developing a map of the country and even the world as to where there are light pollution problems. And so once you take your reading, you take your kit out of the library, you do your reading, and then you can actually submit that data to the Globe at Night project. A couple different ways. One, you can there's an app that you can get on your phone, it's a free app called the Loss of Night app. And the other is right through the web. They have you can go to the globeatnight.org website. You can submit the data in there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically
Great.
that meter. And it's, I think, ends up being about $150 to $175.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah, because we're, as a gift guide, because we're talking about buying things, it's good to know they're in library kits, but not everybody has access to that. So, so yeah, it's good to share, around what they cost and how people can buy them. And I did want to mention also that these are, the light pollutions are a real problem for animals too. Fireflies can't see their mates if it's really bright out, and insects, nocturnal hunters, all sorts of things get really messed up by all this incredible light pollution that we have.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, it really affects animal, especially nocturnal animals.
Right.
So, yeah.
So this is a way for people to actually take part in trying to solve this problem, and NASA's behind it. And but they need your input, and the way you give them the input, if you don't have access to it through a library or something, is to actually have one. You can share it with your neighbors, and you can get your neighborhood onto this Globe at Night map and resource, and help scientists deal with this.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's a neat project, actually.
Yeah.
It's really a very common, it's really widespread. A lot of people have engaged in this particular project, and really one of the more popular citizen science kits that we have.
Great. And now the Airbeam, this is sort of similar. This is something that is not crazy pricey, but people can own it. And it, I guess, is for air quality. Yeah.
So this one is actually got mine plugged in here. So yeah, it's called an Airbeam. This is an Airbeam 3. They came out with an Airbeam, the third generation of this model a few months back. And it's what it does is it measures air pollution, particulates. So I think 2.5 and 10 microns. That's what a lot of the home ones measure, the 2.5 and 10. But the cool thing about this one is it's not just sitting in your home. You can actually take it around with you. It's palm size. It's got a battery on board. I think it's something like 15, 17 hours of battery that once you charge it. They've improved the accuracy over the Airbeam 2, and now you can actually, again, you use your phone to connect to it through Bluetooth, and they've added, you can now do it for both Android and iOS, Apple. So it's very connective with people's phones that are out there.
And Emma will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have discounts available for these, don't we? We certainly have ordering information that we can put up either in the chat or somewhere, right?
Absolutely. We have ordering information of where to buy these monitors, but the only discount currently available is through the Sky Quality Meter, excuse me. Okay. And we did add that to the chat, and I'll add that to the follow-up email as well for anyone. But it is a significant discount from the total price, and I'll resend it in the chat as well. This is for the Sky Quality Meter, but not for the other ones.
And the Airbeam, it picks up the big particulates, but it also, I think the 2.5 or the ultrafine, that they're just they used to ignore it because, oh, they're so small, they're not causing any problems. But increasingly, they're finding that these are ubiquitous, especially people living near highways and things like that, and actually can have health consequences. So, and this, I guess, is able to measure those too.
Exactly. And just like with the light pollution problem, you could also, there's a site where you go and you give your data about what you're collecting on your Airbeam too. It's the air casting website, and you submit your data, and they're creating a habitat map. So it's pretty cool. You go there and you can see everyone else's data that's there. You can take a look in your local area as to what other people are recording in the way of outside particulates, and you really do see if there are local wildfires or something going on in your area. You can see that those particulates spike up in your area. So and really good for people to know, especially with respiratory issues.
And both of these are classic citizen science, because like scientists can't go into everyone's backyard. They can't get a map that shows in fine detail how all these, whether it's light pollution or particulate matter. And they can see some stuff from space, but not in fine detail. But if we have enough people that take these and take readings and put them up, scientists can monitor this, and it really helps them try to alleviate the problems.
Yeah, right. And I think they call it kind of hyper local measurements is what they refer to it as. And so, yeah, everyone becomes part of the network, part of that system to pool all that data together. So definitely takes a village.
Yeah. And then do you have the CO2 meter too?
I do. Where is that?
And I know we said we only had discounts on one. However, I happen to know that the company founder or president says if we email him, he'll give a 15% discount on the CO2 meter.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know if he really, I don't think he'll get thousands of emails. We don't have that many listeners, I don't think, but we'll share that too if he doesn't mind, or we'll forward them to him.
And so that's this instrument here. It's an Aranet 4, and you can see it gives you the number of in parts per million of the CO2 in your environment. So and you will, if you're in a small room, you have there are several people there, you'll see your CO2 levels start going up, and it's not only is CO2 very high levels of CO2 could be a problem in terms of your health and cognition and what have you. But the really interesting thing this kind of measures is when there's high CO2 in a room that you're breathing other people's air, right? And the higher the CO2, the more you're breathing other people's air, and which means you're also breathing their germs in. And so this, a lot of the CO2 measurement projects are around kind of people masking and trying to avoid COVID. But if when you're in that kind of environment, you may be breathing in cold viruses, flu viruses, potentially also COVID viruses. But and it really gives you an indication of the kind of the ventilation in that room, and maybe if you see high CO2s, you want to open the window or open the door or get a fan going, or if needed, mask up. So you may be in a place where you can't open a window, or maybe in a theater or something like that. But this way, hey, there could be a lot of germs in this area. I'm going to put a mask on just in case.
Yeah. And I know there's was a group of scientists early in COVID saying, no, this is a great proxy for aerosols and people should be doing this. And finally, they've been getting some attention, and there's been some research to show that, when it gets up 800, 900 ppm or whatever, you either want to open a window, put the ventilation up, or leave the room. And that can really reduce transmission.
Sure.
And so again, this is a cool thing where you can contribute to science, but it's also a cool thing where you can have it for your own use.
Sure. Yeah. And again, just wouldn't be a citizen science project if you couldn't submit your data. And of course you can with this as well. But there's a group called Raven that has developed a clean air map. same thing. So you take your readings and you go and submit them to the clean air map, and you can again see the other people's submissions of data around you at particular locations. There's at coffee shops or whatever it is that you might want to go to. You can see that data and see how high the CO2 is and how good the ventilation is in those areas.
Great. And I was concerned about this at first because it's fairly pricey. It's $250.
Yeah, $249.
Yeah. And then you go on Amazon, you see all these CO2 meters, like $40 or $50 or $60. And you say, that sounds a little out of whack. But just by chance, the New York Times Wirecutter just did an air quality guide. And the only CO2 meter that they recommended was this one. And they're really rigorous. And they talk to researchers, scientists, and they say, yeah, the other ones are junk. The method they use isn't accurate. They don't break. You can't rely on them. This is the lowest cost one that actually uses professional grade technology. And it was the only one that they recommended. So that I felt, all right.
Yeah, spotting on the article.
Yeah, and 15% off if you email I forget his name. I'm sorry, but the fellow whose email we will share, who heads up the company.
Sounds good.
Great. Anything else that you want to share?
Well, let's see. I mean, we do have other citizen science kits. Some of them come with instruments that may not be quite as high end as those and sensitive as those. But I would say the only other thing that might be of interest to people, this is something in more like the $30 range, $20 to $30 range, are little Clipon lenses. There's another citizen science program called iNaturalist, where you're taking images of wildlife, flora and fauna, and uploading those images. And sometimes you need special lenses for that. And so, we have, there are things that kind of just clip onto a iPhone here or other smartphone that kind of improve the image that you're getting, to magnify it. There are fisheye lenses, there are macro lenses, there's all sorts of things, different kinds of lenses that you might need. So we have one that's pretty, has quite a number of different things, including, honestly, I'm not even quite sure what that's for.
It's impressive.
Telephoto lens or something, and there's tripods and what have you. But something like this, kind of comes in these cases. You can find them for $20, $25, $30. Or like I say, you can certainly find things like this that are under $10, make great stocking stuffers.
Just what I was going to say. Yeah. And kids, I mean, grownups can use them, obviously, but you put one of these on your phone and give it to your kid, and it is so cool. I mean, you may not get your phone back for a while, but other than that, it's a great exploration tool.
Right. I use mine.
All right. Well, thanks, Darren.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob.
All right. Well, so, one part of nature that is of interest to everyone is the weather. And our next guest is going to tell us, what your favorite nature lover needs to be a boss weather watcher. Henry Regis is at the Colorado State University. He's at Colorado State University, and he's the national coordinator for the Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network, CoCoRaHS. Heard from him before, but we're going to have him back here now to talk about CoCoRaHS and the rain gauge that is perhaps the best one that people who would want to participate might want to use and where they can get it. So over to you, Henry. Oh, mute. You're muted.
There we go. Can you hear me?
There.
Yeah, thank you. A pleasure to be with you guys today. Thanks for inviting us. CoCoRaHS, we've been around 25 years now. We are the largest provider of daily precipitation measurements in the U.S. Over 25,000 volunteers out there, and we're in 6 countries, including the U.S., Canada, and others out there in North America. So a great chance for folks to go out every morning, measure how much precip fell at their location. They can put the gauge in their yard. They go on the website, quickly put the information in, or use our app. And this information gets put on maps, gets put into tables, but it's used very much. I mean, it's not just some science that goes in a book. It's used in real time by the Weather Service, by city planners, by different other municipalities, climatologists, you name it. It has real impact. And so we really have enjoyed watching this grow across the country and other parts of the world. And so we invite you to participate. I've got some slides. I don't know if you've got those queued up for me. So I've got our presentation kind of on that. And so there it is, our gift ideas for 2022. And we'll start off, well, that's a picture of our rain gauge. We'll talk more about that in a second. Let's go to our next slide. So Weather Your Way is our official provider for CocoRoss stuff or instruments and so forth. That's a woman who used to be with the Weather Service. She stayed home to raise her kids and started a company out of her house. And so they provide a lot of different things, quick shipping. That's where you would go to get the things I'm going to show you here shortly. So why don't we go to the next slide? And there it is, the rain gauge. So this is the official 4-inch diameter high capacity rain gauge. That inner tube holds an inch of rain, and it measures all the way to the 100th of an inch. So a lot of times when you get a couple drops of rain coming down, you can actually measure that, and we like those precise measurements. The whole thing holds over almost 11.5 inches. So some of the Gulf states and stuff like that, when you get some really torrential rains coming through these tropical systems, we're able to measure that as well. And then there's our URL at the bottom. If you're ever interested in joining CocoRoss, that's the place to sign up. This gauge sells for around $35 plus shipping. It's not your grandfather's rain gauge, so it's not the little one you get from the seed store or hardware store. And then we've done 25-year comparison on this gauge to others. Basically, the Weather Service sees it as the best gauge out there. Different, it's a manual gauge, so it's different than the tipping bucket. A lot of times the tipping buckets are not. So a tipping bucket would be the automated gauge you may have. And we ask everybody that participates in our program to use this one. The accuracy is much more there. Sometimes the tipping buckets can't keep up in heavy rain and don't give you the correct information on that. So this is the gauge. It comes with a couple parts, the funnel at the top and the inner tube. We ask folks in the winter to take that out and then measure what falls and actually take snow core samples where we can get the amount of snow, the SWE, which is the snow water equivalent of how much precip fell. So that's that slide. If you have any questions, I can pause for here for a second.
Nope, that's okay. That's okay. There are some things in the chat that we can get to later, or that you can answer in the chat. But no,
yeah, I'm having trouble seeing the chat at the moment, so
that's okay.
But we'll follow up. So this is kind of just some of the things that are out there on their website. You can, if you need there's the gauge itself and the different parts. There's a bottle brush for cleaning out your gauge. Some people like to put signs up of this is their official weather station gauge out there, decals and stuff, and so they sell a whole bunch of different things which were really meant for the citizen science observer out there. Next one. And so the other option, which we've started a couple of years ago, and the slide didn't come out, there's not $28, unfortunately. This is $280, so it's an expensive piece of equipment. I wish it was $28. We'd snatch them up quickly. This is an ET gauge. What this does, it shows you evapotranspiration, reference ET, how much water goes back into the atmosphere. And so instead of a pan out back, you can use this. Some folks are participating in this. This is for those who are a little more rigorous and wanting to see both sides of the water cycle. So not only what falls down, but what goes back up. And then they can report their information on our website. And there's just a quick example of the water balance from a station in Iowa back from June through August this year. So that's another gift that's out there. Again, it's a little pricey, but it's well worth it if you're interested in doing ET. Next one. So the other thing we've designed different T-shirts over time. And I know folks always like to get somebody who's involved in citizen science different things. We kind of did a precipitation series. So we did a precipitation series where we do tropical storms, hail, dust storms, thunderstorms, rain, snow. And I always, when I work with the American Meteorological Society, I said, wouldn't it be great to have shirts with all these weather symbols on them? So we've done those. We've put them out there. And so there they are. And also, so they were about $13.75 plus shipping. And we also have a CocoRush polo and twill shirts for folks who belong to that. So we kind of, not just equipment, but things to show off. And then our last slide we have going on right now is our CocoRush fundraiser, which we started today, and that'll run through the beginning of the year. For those who donate 60 and more, a short sleeve flash flood shirt that just came out. That's hot off the press. And then long sleeve for $100 donation and above. So if you're looking for something like that, you want to give back to a good cause, there's a chance to do that there. So that's my quick run through on products. There are others out there on the website, but that's just a sampling.
That is great. Thanks. Boy, this is cool. And we have the link for where people need to go to get all of these. And obviously you need the whole set of the precipitation shirts because you don't want to be wearing your hail shirt when it's raining, your rain shirt when it's snowing. So you have to have them all, basically.
Yeah, we've got a closet full of them here in our office too. Everybody seems that people collect them. They like to collect the set. So that's a neat thing. And it's fun designing them each year too.
That is great. Thanks so much, Henry.
Thank you.
All right. And now ideas for the science curious kid. Of course. I mean, it is the gift-giving season and we should be focusing on kids, right? So we have with us award-winning children's book author, Susan Edwards Richmond, author of the books Bird Count and BioBlitz, among others. All right. Hi, Susan.
Hi, I'm really excited to be here. Thanks so much,
you're not
Bob.
muted. Great.
No, I unmuted myself. I took the liberty. So I am a children's author, and I'm actually also a teacher as well. I teach at a nature preschool at a Mass Audubon sanctuary in Massachusetts. And so one of the inspirations for me is the idea of getting kids out in nature. And both of these books, Bird Count and BioBlitz, are based on real events that really do take place in parts of the world, really all over the world in some form or another. The Christmas bird count is quite well known, and many of you probably either are participants or know quite a bit about it. I've participated in it for more than 20 years now, and I thought this would just be a wonderful thing to get kids excited about, not just in the wintertime, but at any time of the year. And so one of the purposes of my book is to design it so that as close as possible mirrors the experience of actually going on a bird count or a biodiversity count. And my illustrator, Stephanie Pfizer Coleman, who's actually from West Virginia, I'm from Massachusetts, did a great job of illustrating all of these birds and creatures. I don't know if you can see
show
me,
us.
But I mean, this is Bird Count, which was inspired by my participation in the Christmas bird count, and just has a lot of features that make it really fun for kids to participate in. The child is kind of the motivating spirit in the book, gets her mom up and they're part of a team. And then she does the tally, and you can see, I don't know if you can see this, but I have, the illustrator has done a tally sheet on the side of each spread, so that you can count the birds along with the character. So if she sees 5 geese, you can actually count all the geese on the page, and then the tally mark is in the book. So by the end of the bird count, they've accumulated quite a nice list of birds that shows everything that's been found. And the kids, I use this in my preschool. I often introduce it with we have some little stuffed birds. We learn that you can identify by sight as well as by sound. And on my website, I do have some lesson plans. So if you want to check that out, if you're a teacher or a librarian or have some kind of a nature program, and you can also either get one of these sheets which has tallies of northeastern birds, or if you're in another part of the country, you can swap in copyright-free images and make your own, custom design your own tally sheet. And the kids just have a great time. My 3 to 5 year olds love to get them out there with a dry erase marker and these tally sheets, and they're good to go, having a great time. So the other book, BioBlitz, is about a biodiversity count. So it's a little bit different. It's not a census. It's about all the different creatures. And both books are kind of organized by habitat. So the child on a team goes into each habitat, a pond habitat, a butterfly garden in this case, or rolling a log and looking for critters under the log. And again, trying to mirror the experience of what it would be like to go from habitat to habitat and what creatures you might see along the way. And again, we have a tally on the side, which has not numbers of animals, but each identified species. And in this case, there's sort of a competition between the character from Bird Count. Ava appears as the main characters in this book, Gabriel's cousin. So Ava's on one team, Gabriel's on the other. Gabriel loves bugs, Ava loves birds. So they kind of compete to see which team.
Oh, read us a paragraph. Read us just a little bit. Can you?
Well, sure. Let's see. Look, I shout as an orange patterned butterfly wings past a great spangled fritillary. Ranger Kai gives me a wink. You're with me, Gabriel. Ava, who's on Dad's team, is already pointing out a bird. Bet our team finds more, I call to her. You're on. So that's kind of how it starts out. And they go on their separate ways, but they meet up a couple times. And the culmination is a mothball. Of course, they meet at the gazebo. There's a white sheet with the lights shining on it, and they're identifying the night insects at the end. So there's a lot of science learning as well as math opportunities. If you're a teacher, there's just like so many different activities that you can spin off this. And there is a teacher's guide on my website for bird count. There's one coming for BioBlitz. It's not quite up yet. They're on the Peach. They're both published by Peachtree Publishing Company out of Atlanta, and you can get them through the publisher. It's distributed by Random House, or I always just say, ask your local independent bookstore. I love to patronize mine, my bookstore. So I'm always asking people. It's usually on any distributor's list, so it's easy to obtain.
Oh, that is so great. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love BioBlitzes. I've been on them. I've led them. It's the best.
It's exciting. I mean, it's really exciting too, because birds are cool because, I mean, that's my love, because they're everywhere, all seasons. You can be in an urban environment, you can be in a rural environment. You're always going to see birds at any time of year. But what I love about the biodiversity count and BioBlitz, and what I do is, as a nature preschool teacher, is get kids excited about every form of life. Like, it's exciting to see an ant. It's exciting to see a worm. And these books are geared to sort of 4 to 8 year olds and their families. So you catch kids at that age, and everything's cool. You know, if it's moving, it's exciting.
That is so great. And everyone can't be in your class, but everyone can get these books so they can.
Exactly. And what I heard was that the pandemic was not a good thing for anyone really, but it did get people out in nature, and these books were helpful to get families out and about and enjoying themselves. Yeah. That
is so great. Well, thanks so much. Well, I wish we had more time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. I had a couple of things I just can't help sharing. I'm surrounded by them. This is my little science corner. And you just mentioned, well, first off, you just mentioned bugs. Field guides. These things are the best. These can be stocking stuffers too. And you know, there's so many of them, and they get kids excited. They get grownups excited, and they're not very expensive. And then you can get into the, you know, these ones for that are more detailed and fatter. And we've talked about critters, but you know, they have ones for rocks and minerals and things like that as well. And one of my favorites, this is from Cornell, and it's a book, right? But it actually has the bird calls in it. So you can, like, I'm gonna, so here's am I off? White-throated, oh no, this isn't a white-throated sparrow. Hold on. this is a song sparrow, and you just hit the thing. You hear that? I hope you heard that. You have to be careful with this because I just did this the other day with a tufted titmouse, and I was out on the deck, and a male titmouse came skittering in like a jet fighter on an aircraft carrier thing. Bam, bam, bam. Where is it? Where is it? Where's the intruder? And I felt so bad because it was freaked out that this other bird was in its territory. So that's an irresponsible use of this book. I did it by mistake, but don't do that. Things to hold critters in. I know you don't want to harm critters. I had to put screen over this one, by the way, because my little things were crawling out of those little holes. But great for kids. And in my super secret box over here, magnifiers, loops, which you might not think of, but they're great for kids. And you put these in, and it's just like those micro things that you put on your camera, but you can see super, super close minerals. And, you know, it just is, these are choking hazards, so not for little kids, but I don't know if you can see it here, but this is all different amethyst, agate, rose quartz. They're all in here, and you can use the magnifiers to look at them. And fossils, I get this from somebody called the Fossil Guy. There's like a 500 million year old trilobite that if you look through the loop, looks awesome. Oh, ammonite. This is the sort of things that, you know, really get kids excited. And I have finger puppets. This is Marie. Oops, my fingers too. There we go. Hello, I am Marie Curie. And it has information about her. And I have a whole set. I have Einstein back here, I got Newton. And lastly, very important, a box for kids to keep all their stuff in. So this was mine when I was 7, and you can tell it was very top, keep out, top secret, because I had a teenage sister who tormented me. But if you put keep out twice and top secret, not just secret, no way everyone's going to open that. So I knew it would be all my secret collecting stuff, seeds and fossils and arrowheads would be safe in this. And again, just the sort of thing that gets kids permission to get out and explore. Oh, what's that?
This is amazing. So I'm at Long Beach Island in New Jersey. It's a coastal town, big Long Island. And this is something one of the fisher boats dug up. I'm not even sure. They netted it. It's either, and now I don't remember, it's either a mastodon tooth or a woolly mammoth tooth.
Get out.
Molar. So I took it in Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia. This is probably maybe 20 years ago. We got this. And they said it was a young animal. Like I said, I don't remember now if it's a mastodon or a woolly mammoth. It's young because this is the chomping part of the molar, and this is still the root. So it's a baby.
Oh my gosh.
Heavy. I can't even imagine how large these creatures were, that this is just one tooth in a baby. I mean, this is heavy. I don't know, maybe 12 pounds at least.
Wow.
That's
But
incredible.
finding stuff in nature is just, it can be life changing. There's a girl who's now, I met her at the science conference, and she studies fossils and stuff, but she was skimming stones with her family, and she was just about to throw one, and she just looked at it, and it had like a perfect leaf fossil imprint on it. And it just changed her life. You know, she saw that, it was so unexpected. And then she's been into fossils and stuff ever since. So it can be really important, these sorts of things, these discoveries that kids can make. All right. Well, do we have any questions from our listeners or people we want to bring on? And we only have 5 minutes, but I'm not sure how big of an audience we have and whether we can entertain their questions.
I was actually going to ask Roland if that's okay. And then everybody can also just weigh in if they want. And sorry, Roland usually has, sorry, it's so loud here. There's sometimes search and rescue helicopters that come by. So I don't know if you can hear that, but that's unfortunate. Every so often, I ask Roland a question and something cool comes up from Roland. So Roland, do you have any instruments or tools that you're using there? And I know you're on mute too.
Yeah, actually, I have the Airbeam 3, which is a very interesting device. I'm gonna get it actually.
In the
Yeah.
meantime, if anyone wanted to share any of their favorite science tools, I'm gonna allow any attendees to talk. So if you wanted to unmute and talk to us after Roland shares, you are welcome to. Sorry, Roland, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the device. And as long as it's facing this side, because the intake and exhaust openings should be downwards, it's weatherproof. So you can keep it all the time outdoors, or maybe on a hike, as Trevor said, or during a bike ride, and simply forget about it. You can simply leave it in mobile mode or in standalone mode in a way that it wouldn't need to be connected all the time to your device, to your phone. And while it has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, you can also unscrew it and add a SIM card and screw it back tightly again, so it remains waterproof and you're good to go. Yeah, it's really amazing. So far, it's been producing numbers which I haven't shared much about to understand their meaning, but I'm really curious to know if my neighborhood is good or bad. So yeah.
And
It's a matter of time.
it tracks it, it keeps it time based, so it doesn't just keep changing and saying a reading, but it knows when and where it took it.
As soon as you end the session, it will upload it to your phone, and then from your phone to the habitat map website, and it will remain there. So and I think you can adjust the privacy in case you just want the readings for yourself. But either way, it's really interesting, and yeah, it's a way to participate in citizen science without doing much effort or time. You can set it up and simply leave it.
Roland, do you take that on runs? I know you have a running team out there in Lebanon. Do you use it when you're running?
Yeah, actually, I took it on a walk. During runs, it's a little harder, but during rides, it's perfect because it has this one, so you can put it on a backpack, and on the bike, you do even more miles for the same duration of time. So you can cover a large area in 1 hour, and yeah, basically on the streets between cars and next to residential buildings.
And you're in Lebanon, not Lebanon, Pennsylvania. You're in the country, Lebanon. So.
Yeah, in the heart of the Middle East.
Wow. So, and this is actually for most of these projects. Are these international, or are they mostly, is CocoRa's and the Airbeam and the others, do they collect data all over the world or just US?
Depends on the project and how it's funded sometimes, but go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. It just kind of depends on the project. I know with the CO2 monitor, but what we have is just basically Canada and the United States so far. But I think it started in Canada, but it's now spreading pretty quickly. So I'm feeling that one's going to be international soon as well.
And CocoRa's?
Yeah, so CocoRa's, we're in Canada, all the provinces here, US, the US Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, and we just started in Guam back in September.
Okay, but the rain gauge works everywhere.
It works anywhere, yeah. And we do, we do have metric inner tubes. If you'd like to report a metric, you can do that on our website as well. So if you're more metric centric, you're welcome to do that.
Great. Okay.
And Mike and Constantina, Trevor, if anybody wants to take your camera, put your camera on and take your mute off, you're welcome to in the last minute or two that we have. And if not, that's okay too. Also, Mike, I think Mike gets the award for coming to the most SciStarter live events. But one. Welcome back, Mike. All right, Emma.
Great. Thanks so much, everybody.
Yeah, if there's nothing else, I did see a couple of little notes in the chat for anyone who wanted to know a couple others. Anthony mentioned fold scopes as the favorite for teacher gifts, a great teacher gift as well, class sets. We used to use those at my school. And then first microscope, Trevor, the first microscope he received as a kid sparked my love for science. I love that. Led you to where you are today. I love it. Yeah, microscopes are wild. I mean, just seeing them makes you feel like you're a scientist automatically, right? Because they just look so
Yes.
official.
And this is a stereo microscope. It's kind of pricey, but you can get them for $100, $150, and you can just throw anything on the stage. You don't need a slide. You can put a flower or a seed or some dirt and things scamper out, and it's amazing and great thing for kids and grownups.
I'll mail this to you, Bob. You put it under that and tell me what you see.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Well, we are a minute after, so I apologize for we just had such a great conversation going. I didn't want to stop it early. Thanks to everyone who is in here as our guests. I just wanted to drop a line to our next events, and Roland will drop the registration links into the chat for you. But there are 3 more, or there's more than 3, obviously. Every week we're back here, but the next 3 coming up are already known, and your registration link is available for that. So if you'd like to join us on the 6th, we'll be talking about the Christmas bird count, which is very relevant to right now, right, Susan?
Yeah.
And then the 13th, we'll be talking about stall catchers. That was the #1 project on SciStarter in 2022. So we'll be talking to Pietro Michelucci, who is the main project leader for that project. And then on December 20th, we'll talk about how satellites track Santa and do science at the same time. So we're talking about hopefully about NORAD, I believe. And I believe Trevor, who's in our audience list today, is going to be leading that one. So we'll get to have him on the main screen. And then just as a reminder, Citizen Science Month is in April. So make sure that you're prepared for any events you might be having. We do have a website, just citizensciencemonth.org, that you can go to, and you can add events that you're already aware of. You can find resources. This is our biggest push of the year to really get everyone out and working on citizen science. And then, as usual, we have a bajillion resources for you. So we will make sure to send as much as we can in the follow-up email without overwhelming you. But I am so grateful that all of you are here.
Great.
Awesome. And then
Super.
lastly, sorry, I totally forgot. We do have a survey always after these events. It will really benefit us to have your input. So happy to have you respond to that as well. Awesome. Thanks. All right, Bob, sorry.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Going to end our stream. Bye, Facebook.
Bye.
And goodbye, recording.